I'd like to call the meeting to the Price County Executive Committee to order. Brian Ernst is not here, so I am in his place as vice chair of the committee. So if we could have the roll, please, Meredith.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Michelle Drobnik.
Here.
Brian Ernst is excused. Paula Hodek.
Here.
Larry Polachek. Jordan Spacek, you are online, correct? He is. I have to see his name.
I see his name.
JS.
He's
Thank
still
you.
muted, so. Okay, well, we'll move on then. So we'll have the public comment. Well, now they're quiet. Is there any public comment from the gallery? No? How about online? Anyone online, Nick? Buzzing in on you?
*6 if you'd like to participate in public comment.
Okay, I see none. All right, we will move on then. So number 2, approval for the fair committee presentation. I would assume that means they're going to be presenting to us. Do we have to make approval for them?
No, I think it just got added as approved,
yeah.
but it's the fair committee wanted to discuss stuff.
And that's good.
The committee.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, there you are.
Yep, we can hear you, Jordan.
Sorry, I had to go into my settings and approve the microphone being used on WebEx. So
Oh,
I
sure.
got booted out.
Sounds good. You're good.
Thanks, good. Thank you. All right, come on up. Whomever's going to speak first, if you would just give your name and your address and you use the mic. Turn the ball where it says push. There you go.
Better. Hi, my name is Darren Brodka, W7335 County Road F in Phillips. I'm representing Price County Productions and a fair board as a fair board member as well today. Here just to do a little update on what Price County Productions has done out at the fairgrounds since we took over, and then also make a little bit of a small ask to the county for maybe a little bit more addition to their stipend if it's possible that they give the county, or that the county gives the Price County Fair. So just a quick overview of what Alexis and his Price County Productions nonprofit has done since we took over out at the county fairgrounds. Money wise, we've got about $265,000 that we have stuck into the property out there. We did a $95,000 bleacher addition. We've raised and put $100,000 into the dairy barn. The last section of the roof has just been completed on there by Heikkinen Construction. We've updated and put in about $15,000 worth of new cyclone fencing. $25,000 in outside contractors leveling the buildings, some of the older buildings that needed leveling and foundation work through Gary Gabrielson, Trey Tingo, the Janix helping out there. We've updated the Wi-Fi system out, or the computer system out there. Brad Cummings has done that for us, so we've put about $25,000 in that. $30,000 in just general repairs. We put all new toilets in the bathrooms, updated the bathrooms, painted them, sided the old bathrooms, fixed water lines, put some new pedestals in. 4 new pedestals for camping and stuff out by the arena, by the grandstand arena, and as well as new lighting for the arena for the rodeo and for the grandstand events that we have during the county fair. So we're basically, along with the other fair board members, trying to grow the county fair. Typically, right now we run about $100,000 budget, of which $20,000 comes from the county. We get roughly $20,000 in sponsorship money from the communities in the county, and we roughly pull in about $60,000 in gate money. If it rains, I guess we have an issue. Fortunately, we've been pretty lucky these last 4 or 5 years as we grow the fair. The fair board is continually trying to grow the fair, get new attractions, do different things. We've done grandstand events now that have been pretty popular with the car races. We did some bulls and barrels this year. We traded off the bulls and barrels because it's been 2 years. We're bringing in a new, what do you call it, Excite Thrill Ride or whatever this year. The zipper.
And then grandstands is another dirt dash, car racing style, but we're putting in a glow in the dark theme. And we're pulling drivers all the way from Milwaukee area to, I mean, like everywhere in Wisconsin. And I've been in deep contact with the promoter. And he said this is just like absolutely going crazy on his end. So he's super thrilled to have 2 nights and stuff like that. Last year on Saturday for the grandstand event.
So my name is Alexis Shinnebeck. I live at W7350 South Middle Lake Road in Phillips. On the Fair Board, also Price County Production President. We at the fair had the dirt dash, like what I was saying. Last year Saturday, we ran out of parking at the fair, and we ran out of parking for the drivers, and it was a real amazing thing to happen out at the fair. So this year, with adding another day to the driving, we're hoping to have another day of no parking for contestants and no parking for spectators and fairgoers and stuff like that, and to increase attendance to a new record on Friday. So going along with that is also so much more that comes from the Fair Board and team effort and stuff like that. And then we were
So basically, as
Yeah.
everybody knows, it's getting to be more expensive as the years go on to pull this stuff in. Trying to get money from sponsors around town. Everybody's
Everyone's
all the
getting-
events
yeah.
are drawn from the same pot, right? And it's getting, you know, sponsors. I don't know. You know, nobody's balked at it, but it's just getting tougher and tougher to ask, to keep asking for more money and more money to do more things to grow the fair. I think we've kind of
every year our
Every
sponsorships have accumulated and grown as the fair has also grown as well. The support has been there too.
Yeah. So I guess that we're kind of here to ask if there's any possible way that the county would be able to up their $20,000
In any
in
way.
any way possible to help us provide a better event for the county. Right. Like I said, it's getting more and more expensive. We're trying to bring bigger and better things here. By us taking over with Price County Productions, we've taken a little slack off from the county. We're hoping we freed up some time and effort out there. We've been getting a lot of compliments of the way the property looks out there and what we've done, and yeah. So that's the gist of it.
Yeah, I
We've
mean,
got Amber's a Fair Board member, and I'm sure she'd like to.
I'd like to talk.
Amber is.
Oh,
you
that's
might
a
have to-
surprise.
We might have to pull the reins in on the young lady, but.
No, actually, I just, what I really am here to really also reemphasize is I think, you know, as county fairs continue to evolve, and I think that is something we're seeing across the state. And I think, you know, Michelle, who has been on our fair board for years and has kind of kept it going. I think now we have a large fair board really committed to ensuring that this event celebrates what Price County is all about, right? And we know that there are parts of the county we're not reaching as well, and that is a gap for us, right? So when you have a county fair, the goal is to celebrate the entire county, and there are some pockets that we're missing, and I think for years have struggled to sometimes get, but that is something we're committed to, is thinking about ways to reach out and celebrate all that Price County has to offer with this one event, right? How is it unique to what else is celebrated here? And I think something that pulls the county together is what has made the county fair kind of a unique and different community event at the end of summer. So that's really our goal. There's committed board, lots of board members putting in different ideas and perspectives to try to reach that goal. So that's all I have to say, actually, Derek.
One other thing I wanted to mention, that the barns we are basically running out of space at the barns now, that with more kids being involved with the raising animals and bringing animals in, we've had to divide pens up this year. I think the goat pens, right? The goat and
the goat pens,
and that. So we've been seeing more dairy and beef as well
Dairy and beef are very full. Actually, sounds like calves have to go in the center
in the
arena.
rotunda
Over
arena.
there.
So
We had to split there in the sheep wing. There were some pens that were made larger to accommodate different animals and stuff like that. All those are no longer larger. They have now been split to accommodate the animals. Turkeys and pigs are going to be sharing spaces and whatnot. So we are seeing an increase
an increase in the
the youth showing and stuff too.
and the number of
And, like the horse
exhibitors.
barn, there's I think we have 25 stalls in the horse barn. They use 2 of them for shavings and supplies. All of them are full.
Nice.
So the horse barn is completely full. The other barns, we're seeing huge numbers come through and actually having to do some overflow adjusting, which is super cool to see too.
So yeah, if you guys could consider adding money to that to help us out, that would be greatly appreciated.
As far as the fair.
As far as the fair, right?
Yes,
For
from
the
the
fair. Price County Productions, we're fine. We're fine with that Price County Productions. If you would like to donate there too, we'd be more happy, but we are here for asking for the fair. I think it was 2 years ago, Amber came up with the great idea that we don't charge any fees to enter.
Yeah, I know, they don't really like that idea.
We didn't like the idea at the time, but we agreed with it. I think that's helped. Do we have
Well, yeah.
exhibitors at the fair? We
Yeah.
made it now so that it's free to enter exhibits. Amber knows more.
Yeah,
She's-
our exhibitors don't pay to enter. That's part of the, right? I mean, I think about as we think about entertainment, both
Mhm.
the exhibits, as Alexis is talking about, that's part of what people come to see and celebrate. And so we definitely want to lift that up and grow it. I think if you've visited any county fairs across the state, that seems to be going down as people are less connected to some of those activities, woodworking, gardening, cooking, and yet I think those are skills for our young people, but also places where our community can celebrate their gifts and talents. So we've tried to keep that so that we are encouraging people to come and celebrate and share. I think the other thing, and Darren we also would love to have every day so that people didn't have to pay. Right? I think for me, when I think about a community celebration, I think that's what also lifts up and celebrates. It's obviously not sustainable in the entertainment world that we live in, but we are partnering this year with the music in the parks. They had to cancel. And so again, just trying to lean into our community in a way and utilize resources that we know are limited here at the county, but also in the community to really develop and have a great event for everybody. So yeah, I wish it was all free. If I ever win the lottery, it will be.
Yeah.
I guess for those who don't know, this year with joining in Music in the Park, Thursday general admission is free to the public to attend, since we've always been wanting to work towards that, and joining with Music in the Park has finally given an opportunity to offer that to our community. In that respect, as Amber said, it'd be so cool to have every day general admission free. The ride passes on Thursday are also discounted too. So we're really working hard to really have that community day involve free general admission to help, right? Like just give the community a place to go and offer all that the fair has to offer for our community.
Yeah, my comment with Amber before there was that the exhibitors are all free. So we don't charge exhibitors anymore to exhibit anything at the fair. I don't remember what it was before, but it seems to have helped that we've got quite a few exhibitors that come out there and go. So the fair is definitely growing in the last, 4 or 5 years. So, and we just like to continue to do that. So anything you guys could consider, that we would greatly appreciate it.
So for the committee, the process, what the request is additional funding under that money we give each year for the fair. So during our budgeting process, that's something you guys review. It's like Appendix C or D or B. There you go. That was cool.
2026 nonprofit and community partners.
So, and then we'll go through that at one of the meetings and you say, yep, we continue to do ITBEC or the Travel Wisconsin. Do you want to continue to give to Friends of Fred Smith as the service to cover the statues? The fair is $20,000 currently. Do you want to keep it at that amount, go up, go down? What is it? So they're coming here to present to say, hey, when you look at that list, be aware and potentially review that in the light of what they said today. So no decision needs to be done today.
Right.
Because that's the full budget process, and it would also have to be approved by the board through the budget.
When does that happen? When does that typically happen, Nick?
Next 3 months.
Yeah.
So,
It's-
yeah.
Budget
So today
time.
we'll talk a little bit about the budget. Next month, we'll probably have a budget in front of them to start reviewing. The following month, it gets a number put to the newspaper and the public, and then the public hearings in November, and the final budget's November.
Okay, cool. So absolute perfect timing.
Right. Well, no, I think this is, I can say from being on the fair board years ago, we were giving, county gave us 50, which was really, really nice, you know, but entertainment didn't cost that much, and, you know, everything. I mean, I'm feeling for you because I know how costly all of that is, but you guys have done a great job. It's just really grown well, and it's nice to see it coming back and flourishing. I too agree that, you know, we're not going to charge the kids for coming in and bringing things. We always considered them entertainment. So, you know, that's another spectrum of entertainment. So we definitely will put this to a talk and chat, and we'll get there. And
Awesome.
so thank you so much, and good luck to you. And don't anybody wish for rain for a
Yeah.
couple of weeks, okay?
I know we want rain, but we need a drought for another.
Yeah, we need drought for a little longer. So thank you very
Okay,
much.
You guys, thank you very much.
I should have said nobody had questions, but yeah, no questions for anybody? Nope. All right.
Of course, come out next week.
Oh,
We hope to
yes.
see all of you there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. It's always nice to see success going on and things growing in our county. All right, so let's go to number 3, meeting minutes of June 11th. What is your pleasure? I don't know who I'm looking at here. Sylvia's here, down there. I need a motion from someone. Okay, Mr. Polachek. And second?
I'll second.
Well, unless Jordan wakes up over there, yeah.
I'll second.
Okay. All right. And so any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Those opposed? Okay. Minutes are approved.
Paula, before you go on, do you want to, so we can get people back to their offices, and I'm
Oh.
assuming they have stuff going, I
Yeah.
believe it's number 8 and 13.
Yeah, let's jump down to there. 8 and 13.
8 would be the resolution that our foresters here for,
Got it.
and then 13.
The
we have
website
people here to
refresh.
talk about our website.
Got it. Thank you for pointing that out to me. It was kind of nice just to have people there. Now they'll leave. Yeah, you have to stay here. All right, so let's get to our number 8 amendment resolution. Where am I? There we go, right here, Cranberry Creek. All right, resolution 720, request to apply for Wisconsin DNR 2020 Municipal Dam Grant Program, or the Cranberry Creek Dam. You'll notice the highlighted with the red, we're amending this because monies have been changed. We'll go down to there. I'll read the first part. Whereas Price County Board of Supervisors Resolution number 412 was adopted as, now therefore be it resolved that Resolution 48-09 be amended to require Price County Board approval by resolution of any county funding required by the awarding of a grant to Price County under the WDNR Wisconsin, Municipal Dams Grant Program prior to submitting any such application for financial aid for the program for any specific county dam project. And let's just jump down to where the numbers have changed, whereas anticipated estimated cost for the program will be $34,000 and now it's $67,524. And then we'll jump down to the financial impact of number 4042 line. Financial impact total estimated cost for this project is $67,524. State share is estimated to be $33,762, and county share is estimated to be $33,762. And this is adopted by the Price County Board of Supervisors on the 18th of February, 2020.
I'll make a motion.
A motion made by
I'll second it to get it on the floor for discussion.
Okay, Larry, seconded. Any discussion?
I have a question. Was this because the DNR was dragging their feet with the grant, Joe? Or
Joe,
what,
why don't you come on up?
It's strange that it just about doubled.
Yeah, the price of the structure itself went up quite a bit. The other thing, I mean, that went from almost $17,000 more. Then it actually even went up from the beginning of the year till now. It was another $3,000. So just keeps on climbing. The other cost was there was a discrepancy between two plans, the original one and then the last one that was put in. There was a 2-inch difference in a culvert size, and so they made us redo all the engineering on there. So that was $14,000 extra versus just going with the bigger size and what was used. So just part of the fun of dealing with.
Who's the engineering firm on this project?
Tiffany Klashewski did the engineering on it. So, which her price was pretty reasonable as far as the amount of work. So.
Is there anything being done on this project right now?
No. So that highway is going to do the install. So that's part of cost wise. You know, he estimated 22 and he figured should be able to do that under that amount. But you know, you always give yourself some extra. So, so that is all in house that way, but it's still got to pay the highway. So that's 22 out of the 67 is coming out of in-house work.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Where's that money going to come from, Nick?
So it will come out of our capital improvement fund. The nice thing about doing in-house is you have budgeted for the highway to be working. So what you're doing is, and I always make this example, is like if you and your spouse have the same bank account and you say, hey, I'll pay you $50 to mow the lawn, you take it out of your bank account, it goes back into the bank account, and all you're out is like fuel and things that had to go out the door. So there's an accounting of what happened, but you're using more of their time, or well, really the same amount. It's just a more expensive time because it's taken a longer time to get it done. So it does come out of our capital improvement fund, which we put money in there each year to do projects like this. It stinks that it costs more than what we originally estimated, but it doesn't cripple us to say, oh, now we can't do a future dam project, or we have some other projects coming out of their airport.
So they won't come back and ask for more before when it's going on or not?
This
I mean,
should be the final.
This should be?
Yeah.
If, you know, we got to get approval, of course, and then it depends on how fast the culvert can be, the structure can be made. The window is pretty tight as far as install, just because of, there's some wildlife stuff that you got to work around, where he may have time this fall and we'd put it in and it'd be, be great, but either way, like the structure, we'd order that right away once so then price doesn't go up and the rest of the cost of everything else should not go up then. So.
How long will it take to get the structure then, Joe, if we order it?
Good question.
Telecom.
I'm not sure. Yeah. I'm not sure on they didn't give a timeline. So
When I talked to Dawn yesterday at our summer show, I think she said they were about 3 to 4 weeks out on building stuff. If that helps.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, I'm going to call the vote. You want to read it off first? Oh, yeah, it's just the resolution, right? Okay.
Okay. I have, pardon me, motion Drobnik, second Polachek to approve the amended resolution 720 request to apply for WDNR 2020 Municipal Dam Grant Program, Cranberry Creek Dam,
Okay.
and then sent to County Board.
So all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we got you, Jordan. So no opposed? Okay. Resolution's carried. All right, thank you. Thank you, Joe.
Bye, Joe.
All right, let's jump back up to our, oh wait, we're
No.
gonna do the website refresh
Yeah.
and
there-
ADA compliance project update.
Yeah, so I'll just kind of give a quick
Yep.
jump into this. So every so many years through our website host, we get a redesign, and we've timed this redesign with a process that is going on nationwide, the ADA compliance, which we have to update a whole bunch of buttons and colors and the way you do certain things on websites so that it's ADA compliant, whether it's visual or hearing or any of that stuff. Originally, the ADA thing was supposed to happen in April of next year. They have pushed that back, but we're still going through the process. The most expensive process, which they won't be talking about, is all of our PDFs or any files that are put on the website have to be ADA compliant also. And you have to have certain software to do that. It is very, 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 very expensive, whether it's $5 to $10 per document to put on there. If we have somebody do it, we can purchase the software and do it ourselves, but then you only have one license, and it's much, much cheaper, but it's still very expensive to buy the software. Along with, you have to have a certain app running on your website to allow for it. So that's a different issue. Laura and Jules have been working on the update, and they're going to give you kind of where they're at and some blanks.
Would you be able to pull up the current website? All right. So what we've been doing, we're just working on kind of cleaning up. It's gonna look like a refreshed website. Just new pictures, cleaner graphics, easier to navigate, things like that. We have been working with departments to determine what is necessary, what's not, what's outdated. If you go through some of these departments' websites, you're looking at some of them and going, oh, that says 2017 on it. So that's probably not, maybe not accurate anymore. So we've been working with the different departments to get people who are kind of heading that up, checking all their links. Similarly, if you're clicking through links on some of these pages, you end up at a dead link that says this link is no longer active. So we're really trying to make sure that everything is pretty tight there, and that we've got a good working website that's not super huge as to bog down somebody who is trying to navigate it. So that, and of course we've got the ADA compliance portion of it, which is a good key part of this whole project, and a good thing to get done, really. So if you'd hover over where it says departments, Jules makes fun of me because this is my favorite word after I learned it. Yeah, get that. This is called a mega menu. Oh, and I think that's a very appropriate name for it. So when we next do it, some of these things will still be here. We're going to be getting rid of a lot of those smaller pieces underneath. So if you click on forestry and parks, it would take you to their page where you can access campgrounds, forms, et cetera, et cetera. But also for the different departments, they are going to be bounded in boxes. So if you look at that menu, okay, so each department will be in kind of its own little bounding box. So it makes a little more sense rather than making everything look like it's all just jumbling together and you're trying to figure out what we're looking at. So that's kind of one of the big things there. We're also some of the more visible changes we're going to be making. We're going to move that search bar that's currently in the middle of the screen up to the top right, which is where people tend to look for search bars if they're on a website. We're also going to be decreasing the number of tabs on the top. We're going to be getting down to your government departments and local municipalities. And we've actually already taken off a few. And the thing that's pretty cool about it is we can actually be doing website updates on our current website. And when they get to the time that they're going to be flipping that over, they just take they say, okay, as of this date, stop making changes. And then they can flip over whatever we've currently got. So we can be getting this ready, and we have been getting this ready already. So that's kind of a nice thing. Here's my fun fact of the day, your quiz. What is the most visited page on the county website? You're cheating. You knew you weren't being asked that question. Jeez, we talk about it. No, so it is the inmate list is the current, and that's pretty standard across most county websites, is what they told us. It was briefly overtaken this week by the elections page,
Sure.
so yay. So anyway. That's basically what we're looking at. We're looking at the ultimate goal of making it easy for the public to navigate, easy for them to find where they need to go, and get the information that they need as well. So we are estimated to go live in November. That's what our time frame is. So the new website should be up and running by then. So if anyone has any suggestions or questions or anything like that, we'd love to hear your input. And
That photo is one I took. That's
Oh.
Wayne Morey's
oh,
farm.
that's cool.
Yeah, I didn't know it was still on there.
Well, the other problem we've run into with some of these pictures is that they're not a high enough resolution. So if you look at that on a website, it looks kind of pixely. There's higher resolution cameras now and things like that. So we're trying to update some of that photography so that it looks a little more clean, a little more modern. Just refresh everything.
The one thing we are working on, like we talked about with the PDFs and the cost of transitioning to the ADA compliant, we're looking at all the public record retention issue type numbers and saying, okay, this thing is that old, it's beyond the retention. So instead of spending the money to convert it, we still retain it if it's like agendas and minutes or whatever. That has to be retained forever. We're going to just not retain it online. So if somebody wants to see it, it'll be a public records request, just like we do now. But it gets super cost prohibitive to convert every document that's ever been put on here or maintained on here. And so we're going to keep the state statute amount of information on the website updated, and anything beyond that, like, so once we've converted, I think it's a couple years out, we have to go,
Yeah.
that can all stay there, because then once it's been converted, it's fine. It's just going historically and converting it. We're not going to be able to do that up front. So we're limiting what is going to be there, but it's not destroyed. It's still available.
And also, the more things that we house on the back end of our website, the clunkier it is for everything. It kind of makes our site run a little bit slower, and it's, trying to find the things. So that's part of it too, is just really cleaning up what doesn't need to be there anymore. Is it a promotional flyer from an event that happened 12 years ago? Nobody's going to that anymore.
So is there something you can do for the election time? When you have up the spreadsheet, and of course, you keep hitting refresh, and after a while it doesn't refresh. You have to go completely out and
Oh.
come right back in. So I don't know if that's anything that you can do about that, or
That would be your technology. That's
Yeah.
called a catch. And then
Yeah.
so it just starts
Catch-
saying
okay.
there's
Yeah.
no update. And,
I was gonna say, I think that's more on the user end
Okay.
than on the,
And
on
it
the
is a-
website
it's
end.
a-
Yeah.
Technology, Paul.
oh yeah, oh yeah. I'll call TJ Road.
There you go.
Laura, what if somebody requests records in Braille? Do we have to provide that through this ADA?
That would be a question for the clerk or the deputy clerk. I don't do the records request portions.
I don't
Who
know.
wants to answer that?
Right. I don't know if Braille would necessarily, because the technology now we could produce a PDF that could be read. So
Somebody would read it to
there's
them.
plenty of software out there that would read it to the individual.
Mhm.
So I don't believe we're required. We'd have to look into
Yeah.
it, but the ADA compliance comes down to, if you look at, is it County of Eau Claire? They already are up
Mhm.
to, because they have a board member who is sight impaired. So they've already gone to making sure all their PDFs and all their packets are ADA compliant. So
Nice.
it's an interesting, it's more that it reads it to them, and
Well, that's good.
you can see a bigger print, certain things.
Any other questions?
Colors will be close to the same or
Yep.
updated a little
We
bit.
are going to, it's pretty close to the same colors, but we're actually moving toward more of a cohesive branding idea. So like the new signs that are out in the hallway with that dark blue, light blue
Sure.
kind of look, that's our color color wheel that we are using with them on the new site. So very similar to what we currently have got, but just honing that in a little bit more and really trying to make those be our branded colors.
Buttons have to be all high contrast, so
Yep.
that's why we have to have certain colors
Oh.
Yep.
that offset. The other thing we're working on too is with cybersecurity issues that we've seen over the years. A lot of websites, if you go to like a department, I don't know if Forest will do it, but if you, so like over here it says email or contact your Price County Forest Administrator.
Yeah.
If you hover over it on the bottom left, it'll pop up. See, real small, it says actually his email address.
Got it.
You don't want that because what they're doing is they're scrubbing your website to get the email address, and then they'll use that to try to log into your stuff because now they have direct access to your email, the name, which it's a public thing, but it's one less way to get it quickly and easily. So what it would be is when you hover over it, it would actually just be a bunch of gibberish that is a link to contact that person rather than a direct email.
Yeah.
It's just little things like that you don't think of, but we have to go through it in order to make sure we're cybersecurity
Yeah.
issues.
And similarly, we have like especially like in human services, you can do the contact us page and there's a big list of here's all the employees and here's their phone number and here's their email address. We're taking off the email addresses for the same reason there. So
They'll
it's
take that.
it's more going to go to that contact form. You're probably familiar with it when you go to a website and it says contact us, and then you can put in your name and your information and you put it in the box. And it's not like one of those where it says contact us and it pops your email up to send them an email.
It's good.
Any questions on the website update?
Oh, sounds fun though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I miss anything, Jules? Okay.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you guys.
Mhm.
What's the cost gonna be for that? Did I miss that? Or
So-
do we not know that?
Yeah, so there's no cost for the refresh. So with our contract, that our host contract and who has the program, we pay a yearly fee, and then I think it's 4 years, we actually get a refresh. We've pushed this one back. It's been 5 years because we knew this was coming. So with this refresh, we're kind of getting a little extra help. The cost will come when we look at that PDF conversion, which will be sometime late next year, I'm guessing. We got to get this up and running. We have a year to get ADA compliant on that, but I mean, we're talking between 10 and 15,000 for the software and the conversion for the PDF side of it, not the website update. The website update is included every 4 years.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, treasurer's report. Renee,
Good morning.
good morning.
So I know everyone has the financial report and the treasurer's report. It looks a little inflated. That's because it's tax collection time. So those funds will not be staying in there as we just completed settlements yesterday. So any questions on those standard reports that you see? Okay. A couple other updates I will give you is to let you know that next week I will be sending invoices to the municipalities for the tax collection for the coming year. We're collecting for 7 in 2025 tax collection. We are going to lose Georgetown. Georgetown is going to collect their own for 2026, but we are picking up Eisenstein. So, it's a larger municipality as far as tax collection. I haven't quite heard back from all of them yet, but after the Towns Association meeting, I did email everyone and request that they let me know in August here so I can send the invoice whether or not they want us to continue to collect. Heard from Fifield, heard from Worcester, the villages, Town of Harmony are all still on board, so. Flambeau is a question mark yet that I will follow up with them. But we will be picking up Eisenstein. So,
Nice.
yeah. Next month is our kickoff meeting with T-Tech, the new tax software. Well, not just tax software, but of course, that's what I focus on. That will be the end of September, and that'll begin the work. It takes a year getting everything built and ready to go. So just wanted to make you aware that that kickoff meeting is next month. Any questions on that? Or anything thus far? Okay. Moving on to the in-rem side, next week, Tuesday, is our court date. We currently have 16 properties that will be on the list for court on Tuesday. Possibility of one more being paid off prior to that, but not bad all in all, considering 5 of them are sliver parcels that have been hanging with the county for a while. We just wanted to clean all those up and have a fresh start, so to speak. So 5 of those 16 properties haven't had anything going on for quite some time. And then some others, we started at 73, so
Yeah.
16 is not too shabby. Any questions on those? I know you've got your list, and it gets harder to read as time goes on with all the crossouts, right?
Yeah.
I know. Oh, yes, that is also on my list. Thank you. Yes. So I did send out a letter to all of the Price County Realtors looking for a request for proposal to do the CMAs again, just like we did last year. End date is August 31st. It's going in the paper. It has to go for 2 weeks. So those are due back to my office by the 31st, and then we will be making a decision based on those sealed proposals and work on the CMAs so we can get those properties to auction. Looking for an October timeline for the auction. Once the gavel drops on Tuesday, I will be sending out the letters. They have 30 days to remove any personal property, and we will move forward.
So once we get the CMAs, that sets the price for the auction, because we have to do one round at market value. So hopefully if we can do it in October, usually it's like a 3 week
3 weeks.
auction. As soon as that auction ends, as long as we've had a meeting in between or right away after that, we can then reset those prices to what the committee would like. We tend to set them lower and let the auction run them up. That way we can get rid of as many as possible by January 1st. Because if we can get rid of them by January 1st, it goes on to the next. It doesn't get an extra year of no taxes.
Okay, any questions for Renee? Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Sylvia,
All right, good morning.
thank you. Good morning.
So just to give an update to the committee, June and July have been our busiest months of 2026 in the Register of Deeds office. We've been recording more documents, which is wonderful. In July, we conveyed on straight sales $20.5 million in property in Price County, and one of those was a very large sale. It was a large forest sale with 255 parcels, I believe, for $8.2 million. So every couple of years, we see some big forest companies, big MFL properties be conveyed. So we had one of those in July. So that was a good big sale for us. We recorded 343 documents in July. Like I said, I think June was 344 documents. So 2 busy months for us, which is wonderful. We processed 61 vital record applications and provided 207 certified copies of those records. So a good busy month for us. That's good.
Okay. All right. Hearing no questions. Thanks, Sylvia.
Yeah. Yeah, the next agenda item, the cloud version of land record system software. In your packets, you received a copy of a quote that was provided by our Register of Deeds land record software company, Fiddler Technologies, and it's for a service that's called Bastion. And what that is, it's a cloud-based service that would take our land record system off of being housed on a county server to a cloud version so that in the event of a cyber attack through the county's network that would basically shut the county down for a unknown amount of time, this would allow the Register of Deeds office to get up and running with our land records within hours versus an undetermined amount of time. When we went with this land records vendor back in 2022, TJ and I had a conversation about the cloud version. And at that time, the county had decided to keep the main repository of land records within the county server. A lot has changed with cyber security, and we've seen 9 counties become crippled by cyber attacks in the last 4 years. So this is becoming a not if, but a when. So again, what this allows me to do is to keep our economy in Price County going so that people can sell their properties, purchase properties, take out mortgages without being crippled. You know, we would cripple basically banking industry, title companies, attorneys, our taxpayers, our property owners, if the county would become under a cyber attack and we're shut down for an undetermined amount of time. This would allow me to get a laptop separately, contact Fiddler Technologies, get up and running within a couple of hours versus weeks, months, days, and continue recording documents in Price County. Right now, we house over 413,000 permanent records for land records in Price County. The Register of Deeds, when we record a document, is required to keep that permanent. It becomes a permanent record of our county's history. So we have records back from March 1st, 1879, when Price County became a county and we recorded that first document. So we do not ever want to lose any of our documents and scramble and cripple Price County's economy by not allowing people to record. So this allows me to get our records off of the county server onto a cloud version with Fiddler Technologies. The upfront cost is a $5,000 one-time cost, which is in that quote, and then it's about $10,000 every year for Fiddler Technologies to maintain that. I have had conversation with TJ. He had a couple of questions to reach out to the vendor for. I did receive answers for those. So he does support moving things off of the county server. And with our conversation we had yesterday, you know, this just kind of reduces liability for the county if we would become under a cyber attack. So I just wanted an opportunity to educate the committee members of what this service is and what it would provide. I did include it in my 2027 budget for the Register of Deeds, so you will see that in the budget that comes forward. But I just wanted an opportunity to educate you on this item and see if you had any questions that I could help answer.
So your size range is at 101 to 150?
It is, yeah. And that's, you know, we're in a pretty good size range right now because currently all of the documents in the Register of Deeds have been digitized. So, you know, we're at 112, so we have quite a bit of growth that would have to happen to get to that 150. And normally we're recording anywhere between 3,000 and 5,000 documents a year in Price County. So it would take us a long time to get up to that 150 to bump us up to that next storage. So, like I said, all of our documents recorded are currently digitized. So the number of 112 includes all the digitized documents. There's a few sporadic things we find just back indexing with history, but that's very minimal.
So I did talk to TJ also because he's supporting it. So we are working the budget that'll be presented. It has this in there because on his end, he can then get rid of a server, which is a cost every year. There's maintenance on the server. There's upgrade on the server. So the actual net cost per year is about $2,500 to $3,000, not necessarily the $10,000. There'll be $10,000 in Sylvia's. Just we'll be able to have less contracts in TJ's. Now his contracts are going through the roof, so it's not like all of a sudden his will go from 100 to 82. But there is savings across the county. So we did work with TJ on, does this make sense? Like Sylvia was bringing up, the liability is the biggest one. And just one less thing that if something were to happen here or not, it's when something happens here, it's one less area that may be down for an extended period of time, or one less thing that TJ would have to be worrying about to try to get up and running. We can work more towards the vital systems and like the 911s, and not saying this isn't vital, but it would be not the first thing that gets brought back online.
And I completely understand that. And that's one of the reasons
We're
that
choosing our words wisely.
that, and I, like I said, I totally understand that this just gives an opportunity then for me to get our system running up in the county while TJ gets the 911, the financial things like that. So he doesn't have to have, worry about me being able to do that.
Yeah, we went on or through the cloud financial earlier this year, so this is just the next step. And this is not, it's same subject officer, but you guys have no clue how good this board has been to TJ and IT and how prepared we are compared to most counties when it comes to the cyber stuff. These type of things and looking at this is huge when it comes to it. We see there's been several counties, like Sylvia said, that some do it real quick and easy because they've invested, they have a TJ, they have put millions of dollars into their IT, just like we have. And there's some counties that said, nope, can't afford it, don't want to do it, don't do it. And those we see 3, 4, 12 months of disruption, and some are still not back up and running after 2 years, a year and a half. So it's huge that you guys understand it and invest in it. And it may be something that you never see because it all goes into a closet, right? We're doing $1 million project or $800,000 project with IT right now. Nobody will even know the difference unless you open the door to that closet, and that's where the action is happening, and it keeps us running day to day. So
The most recent one was Washburn County.
yep, and
Yeah.
they're still dealing
with it. Yeah.
Iowa County was probably the biggest
Oh,
case
geez.
study that really jump-started a lot of things in the area. But we do a lot of stuff behind the scenes, and we know we're getting targeted because we get open records requests say, I want to know every piece of equipment that you have that deals with this server. And it's like, well, no, we're going to deny that because we know the smell test doesn't pass, right? So we can do things on our end, and it's not cheap to protect the information and keep us going.
Okay, well, thank you for the information. It's glaring. Yeah.
Thanks, Sylvia.
Yeah. All right, Office of Administration.
Oh, goody.
All right. So right now, we got a couple of things we'll talk about today, but we'll get through the executive summary because that's usually the highlight of my moment as I get looks. So in your packet, you should have the executive summary. We're 58% through the year. So far, in general, we've had our moments, right? Things come up. TJ's had some stuff with batteries in our servers. Those are $10,000 to $20,000 that we have to be replaced, but it's stuff we see every couple years. Right now, there's been no major, knock on wood, oh my gosh, this happened and we need $100,000 fix. So nothing's jumping out this far or so far into the year. Elections it's a governor election year, so they're already at 80% of their budget. But again, we know every other year it's going to be high and every other year it's going to be low. The jail and the sheriff's office, we're actually not doing too bad. We're at 61% and 62% in those areas. We know we have some overtime with some things that have happened in the community, but in general, we're sticking a budget pretty well this year. Any questions about the general fund or any areas there? Health and Human Services, That one this year has had some high cost placements. We're definitely ahead of last year at this time. So we're at 72% of the revenues, which is good because we're 58% of the year, but we're also at 67% of our expenses. The hard part about this one is some of the programs, the more you spend, the more you get back. So you can't just say, oh my gosh, we're going to be over budget, because there are some offsets. This one always comes down to those high cost placements and how quickly we use up the portion that were allocated by the state, either with the high cost and the staff that continues to have to work those situations. So we'll continue to monitor it, but this is one that we know this year is going to be a high year in health and human services. Other funds, the animal control, vet service, library services, airport. Again, nothing's jumping out. Highway, we had a little bit of a rough spring, really all winter, but it goes into January where there was a lot of ice this year, and those are really expensive because you feel like you're not moving snow. You're just out there running in circles, chasing slippery spots. So they're not too far off, but they did have a spring.
Yeah.
But in general, we're doing okay there. Cash on hand, we're at 13.8 million, which is less than prior years. Again, we've talked about this year over year. We're spending down the ARPA funding, we're spending down project money, we're spending down a lot of things. So to be less by 800,000, it's not a, oh my gosh, what's happening? It's we know what's happening. We have certain expenses that we had loaned money or borrowed money, and it's sitting there and it goes out, or grants are waiting to come in because we have big projects we're working on. So in general, nothing surprising with our cash. Sales tax, 5% more than last year at this time. So discretionary spending is up, or spending is up in the community, which is good. That is not what the state and we have predicted for the year. So to be up 5%, that's good at this point. So for up through May, our sales tax number this year is 534,391. Last year was 508,000. So if we stay on par, it'll be a good year. Stumpage, this is again one of the reasons we're behind on cash by 800,000. So last year at this time we had $1 million in stumpage. This year we're only at 551,000. Again, it's hard to say, oh my gosh, what's going? It's a 3-year contract. So when we bid out our stumpage, it's 3 years. So some years are slow, and then other years will be fast. So you look at your 3-year average. Is that what you hit your budget with? So if this is a lower year, you're going to assume that the next year or two something's going to bump up, because we know we've sold $3.7 million in stumpage. That also grows slightly. I mean, it's an estimate, but chances are, based on if you bid it today and it grows for 3 more years, they don't pay what they bid, they pay per stumpage. So if I pay X dollars per ton, today there might be 10 ton, but tomorrow there might be 11 ton to harvest because it grew. So sometimes it's okay to wait on those, as long as our foresters are great at estimating, which they have been historically. So we're half of what we were at last year. So high cost placements, again, another reason our cash is down slightly. Last year at this time, we were at 344,636 in the children and youth division. We're at 573,170. Health and Human Services, we talk about that. There's a couple cases that are quite expensive. They reach between $15,000 and $20,000 per person per month. So, and we have between 2 and 3 of those right now going on. AODA, this is behavioral health area. Same thing, we're seeing more and more cases with the behavioral health. Last year we were at 175,000. This year we're at 208. However, if you look back 2 years, we were at 355. So it just depends on what cases you're working, and do they qualify for children and youth? Do they qualify for behavioral health? They kind of bounce back and forth. In general, the two are up this year. Health insurance, knock on wood, we've been doing really well. We talked about this at admin yesterday or 2 days ago. We're about $160,000 to the positive this year. And it's a little bit more than that. I had our June numbers at that meeting, but our July numbers. So we started the year at negative, and at this point we're at positive in that fund balance. So that's been good. And that's because we've had, again, knock on wood, very few high cost claimants. Right now, I believe we have one that's hit our stop loss, which is 120,000, and then we have a second that's hit 50%. Last year, I think we had 3 or 4 that have hit that $100,000+. So we're also seeing really, really good success with using Tailored. Last year, we averaged just under $10,000 a month using Tailored Family Clinic. This year, we're averaging just over $15,000 a month. For every dollar we spend at Tailored, we believe we save about $3 to $5. So that's a significant product that we introduced. The other product that we're seeing success is that it's called Health 360. So if Nick needs a knee replacement, I go to Tailored, so we save money there. They then say, okay, we need to get you your MRI or whatever scan. If I were to go normally to that, like a clinical setting, they would send me to their MRI, which probably will cost you about $3,500. If you go through Health 360, it'll say, okay, the highest one in the region is $3,500. If you go to this one, it's $650. So the employee then would choose, working with Tailored, they'd help them choose in this product. They would go to the $650 option, which is the same readings, everything. You as an employee would receive 25% of the savings. So the county saved $2,800 or whatever the math is. We would give you 25% of that savings up to $5,000 per person. So the nice thing is we as a county save 75% of that, and the employee gets 25 for helping us out save that money. Haven't been on a call for a while. We do monthly calls for that, but I know we've saved at least 50,000 this year doing that product, and they have enough, like their referrals or people looking into it. It's like 150,000 so far that we may potentially save this year. So, and that's a new product. Once it actually gets like in the swing of things and people understand, whoa, I can get a little bit back and I'm saving the county, which then keeps our health insurance more stable. We should see more utilization. We also have wellness program that we've seen some RX go down. So people are getting off certain medicines because they're utilizing our wellness program. Which now, like we talked about at admin, it looks like for 2027, our health insurance plan shouldn't have to change minor changes. We have to go up by the federal HSA amount in order to be HSA qualified for our plan, along with some of the premium will change for the employee in the county, but very little compared to, you're seeing a lot of plans out there go up 20%. 18%. We should not see anywhere near that when we get down to the brass tacks on that. Parks, you also received a report about where our parks are at for the year. I don't know if there's any questions on that. Our revenues are up year over year, 25 over 26, and our expenses go along with that, but they're up slightly. So that's so far where we're at. So we've pretty good jump in year over year. It does break down each park and what the revenues are and the expenses are budgeted versus actual. Any questions about what's going on fiscally or throughout the county?
I will say I had, whoops, go ahead, Jordan.
I got a question from an outside individual. They asked about a benefits study that we're doing, and I guess I didn't know anything about it, and I must have missed public comment or communications when I was messing with the microphone thing. Is that something we're doing, and what's the cost of it?
Yep. So it's not a benefits evaluation. So you're echoing, Jordan, on your side. So So we have a broker called Cottingham and Butler. They're the ones that really do like the benefits review. So at admin, we went through, we are looking to change a couple of our voluntary benefits, but through their suggestion, and really it does help maintain our product. We hired a third party called Cisco, and what they're doing is it's a benefits, or not a dependent audit. So we are going through all of, because we're self-insured. So what it does is it goes through, and for example, I get a letter in the mail because I'm on our health insurance, and I have to prove my benefit, or my dependents, who they are. So I have to turn in a marriage certificate to show that I'm legally to cover that individual, my spouse. I have to show birth certificates to show that those are legally my children, whether or fostered or not fostered, adoption papers. So you're showing that you should be on the plan. We're going through this currently. We have, I think it was 4 or 6 people that we are working with because they had some eligibility issues on what they were. So what it does is it's an accounting thing or an audit for all of your dependents on your plan, which we have 130 plans with almost 400 belly buttons, which are dependents. I can't remember the exact, it was under 10,000. It was like 8,000. It's part of our health insurance cost. It's through that fund. So that's paid for through the people who pay for health insurance to keep our health insurance costs down. The one that we see the most on that is if someone's going through a divorce, a lot of times they'll go to court and say, okay, I'll cover my spouse's health insurance because I'm already on the family plan and I got to cover the kids. So whatever, I just want out of this and cover my spouse. Well, legally, you're not allowed to cover someone you're not married to. So we're seeing the courts go, fine, you agree to that, gavel, you're on their health, or you have to be covered by that person's their health. Your health needs to be covered by your ex. Well, that means you have to pay COBRA, which is about $1,000 to $2,000 a month, if not more, or you have to go out on the marketplace. A lot of employees don't know that. And so we've caught a couple of that where either they were in the middle of divorce or working. So we've been able to inform some people, and that's been a shock to them.
Oh, yeah.
But it is a product that comes through our health insurance to advise us on what plans we should be doing in the future, whether we're too generous or not generous enough with dependents, and what products we can offer.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
I was just going to say that I ran into a group of people in Homespun the other day, and they were just emphatically pleased about what's going on out at Sahlberg. They just didn't realize that was happening. They thought it was just a great boon for Price County. And I said, I appreciated them telling us that. I said, we don't always hear the good things, but I mean, they were just spewing things that were just wonderful about it. So I want to make sure we get that out there. We don't always, like I said, hear the good things. Okay. Anything else, Nick?
No, not on the finance.
Not on the finance.
We can
Okay.
go into budget.
Okay, go next.
So 2027 budget. So Carrie has been working a lot with departments on gathering all the requests and how the budget's going to be laid out. So today we don't have a budget ready. We're still a little early in the process here, but we did want to kind of give you some updates on what we're seeing or kind of some direction that we're looking for. The first one is we did talk at admin. We have built in or started with a 2% wage increase. So what that looks like is it's a 2% on our wage schedule, not necessarily, it's across the board, but we say it's on the wage schedule. So the way our wage schedule works is employees are on a wage schedule. We have a market line, which is our 5th step. That's what would go up by 2%, which then affects all the steps to the south of it and to the north of it. So all the steps south of our market are 2.5% jumps. All the ones north of our market are 1% jumps. So our goal is to get people to market, and then there's longevity beyond that. So if we do 2%, on the market. If you are an employee and say you were on step 2 out of 10, you'd get 2% at that April time when we usually do the wage schedule increase. And then you'd also on your anniversary get a 2.5% step, because that's getting you to the market. We hire because you don't have the marketed skill. Technically, you have a skill set that will get you to be efficient with your job. Market means you're efficient with your job is how this scale works. So right now we have built in 2%. Is that what you want me to continue with? We may have to adjust that when you see what the total numbers are, because we are currently over budget, as in we have a limit that the state gives us and a limit that we can raise things. And it is coming in above that at this point. So 2%, good, bad, start there.
What's your pleasure? What's your thoughts?
Or you don't need, just head nods.
Just yes or no.
I just don't want, we don't want to put in all the work and then it's like, whoa, no, we said we wanted to give 8 or we wanted to give 1. So
Jordan, you have a thought up there?
I think 2% is a good starting point, and it can either be adjusted up or down depending upon the total budget. I guess, are there any big asks coming in already, Carrie?
yes.
Oh, I'm sure there is, but yeah.
And we'll get to that.
And yeah, we'll have that list for you, you know, at the next executive. We'll give you what the asks are, and, you know, like we do every year. So you can.
And like, so I'll continue to go through, but like, there's things like, we have a list of like certain positions it would be nice to add throughout the county. We have no capacity based on what's coming in, right? So if right now, what are we, $500,000?
Yeah.
About $500,000 over that we have to come up with to get just down to our allowable levy. If we start adding positions, we're looking at another 100,000 a position to come up with. So right now there's no new positions built in, because we just didn't have additional funding, whether it's from the state to offset it or new revenues that are coming in today. That may change if the state comes up with something, or if fees change somewhere or whatever. There's options you can do. The things that we need to talk about, other things that we're building in, is we have an option through this statutory option that we can raise or remove a certain operational cost, which is our insurances, like our property, casualty, auto, our liability insurance from our operational costs, and you can put it on debt. Debt is not capped. It's capped at a ridiculous number, but you can raise your levy based on debt. So right now we've built in taking all that insurance and putting it under debt. The hard part about that is every year you as a board have to give a 3/4 vote on debt. So if one year you're like, nope, not going to pay for that, then we have to back that up and put it back into operational, which is cutting somewhere about $400,000. So right now we have built in that $400,000 is coming out of our operational levy and putting it into debt. Now we're managing debt, so it's not like debt will go up 400. We're working on what some of the options are there. So does anybody have any objections at looking at that? Because then our problem goes from $500,000 to $1 million, our overage. IT is what's killing it. I mean, that's our biggest. So that's another thing we're working on. I'll just keep moving because debt, we're positive. We've really been good at getting big projects done lately. So there is a list of projects or products that, whether it's lawnmowers or some of that stuff, but we believe we can fit it in our general debt app on some of those things. We can postpone some of the projects. One area that we have to figure out or continue to postpone is through the highway department. They are recommending, just like normal, their equipment fund, which is not a debt thing. They're recommending an additional truck like we've been doing for the last 3 years now, 2 years. So that's about $400,000 in debt, plus all their normal construction debt, which is almost $4 million.
3.1.
Well, plus the 700,000, so $3.8 million. And this year they're adding on another $500,000 for yellow equipment. So we know we've had this problem for a while. We've always scraped by saying, oh, we had a good winter, used $400,000 for a front loader. So this year they've put together a yellow equipment fund request, and it's $500,000, which not coming out of operations because we don't have that. So it would be additional debt. There are some strategies if that's what we want to do. If we see fit that yellow equipment is on the list of must continue to do or must get updated, we could extend that debt out. And so this year we'd only go up 100,000. Next year you'd go up 200. The following year you'd go 300 because you would start to stagger it. So it's not today you go up $500,000. You do it over a 5-year process. One way to look at it, or a 3-year process, you could pick a number. Or we could say $500,000 as a board. It's not your guys. You guys will have the first kick at it as executive, but the full board could say, nope, 500 is not what we want to budget for yellow equipment. We want to put aside 300,000 a year, and maybe it takes twice as long because you have to wait a year and a half or 2 years to get some of that stuff. But it's something we're looking at. So that's a question you guys will have to answer as what your debt capacity will be or look like is yellow equipment, because that has been a discussion point for a couple of years. The nice part, and we'll talk about it a little later, is we know we have a radio project coming. We know it's going to be anywhere from $1 million to $100 million. I mean, I'm being facetious because we don't know, right? It's going to be, I would guess, based on conversation, between $1 and $4 million is a radio upgrade for the whole county and the community, depending on what options come forward. Based on the RFP and the study we have to do and some of the steps we have to take, we don't have to worry about that project today. We have to be aware that that debt is coming, whether it's stretched out over 10 years or 2 years or whatever. So when I talk to Brian and Brian, so chip board chair and the sheriff, we know that it's coming, right? We're going to discuss allocating some money to do the study. Based on the study, based on my conversation with the people who may do the study, we're looking at really the implementation, and the starting the project would be mid 2027, go live 2028, which means during next year, not the budget, but during next year, you guys could approve a resolution to borrow money at X dollars and put it in the 2028 budget. We could figure it out then. So next year, we won't see a request, or this year for next year's budget, we won't see that request for borrowing for that project. So positive is we have some wiggle then to work out some other issues before we have to figure out the high cost of updating this community emergency towers. And I think the nice thing is we're able to push it back a little bit, really go through the study, and then we need to work with the fire departments, the EMS, and say, you guys are going to have this problem too. Whether it's with radios, how can we all work together, and maybe we can save the fire district some money or the EMS some money when they're team up with these contracts and moving forward. So positive there. We know we're still working on it, but it won't be a debt issue until 2028. It'll be a project discussion all of 2026 or early 2027 to get it up and going, but the debt won't happen till 2028. Any other major thing? Any other questions about the budget process or what we're going through? Like I said, IT's killing us in a good way. I mean, I get it. For example, Sheriff's Department had a 10-year contract with the radios, and we locked in our maintenance cost at like $36,000 over those 10 years. Well, the 10th year comes out and they go, oh, by the way, the market cost to maintain these is $78,000. Your Microsoft stuff, oh, the servers, they used to be $100,000 a year. They're going to be $200,000 a year. So that's where we're seeing the biggest bump year over year is IT costs.
Any comments? Nothing? Okay. Let's move on to updates.
I can't think of much going on. I just got back from a health insurance conference over in Green Bay. Got a lot of good feed or information. The nice thing is it's good to hear that we are on the right track with our health insurance by doing near-side clinics, doing these health 360s, doing wellness programs, really educating your employees on health insurance and how it affects, the long run, the costs. With health insurance, we talked about it, admin, but one other area we're looking to adjust is our voluntary benefits, which is 100% paid for by employees. We're looking to transition from Emeritus and there's another product to Delta Dental and Simtrex, I think is the other for life insurance, which if we bundle all the new products, it's actually a better product for the employees. Symetra, I just got that message. It's a better product. We save on our brokerage costs and then we save also on our administrative costs. So we can see some savings there and get a like or better product for the employees. Other than that, the other updates are on the agenda, the bug tussle, and
Okay.
we did the website.
Okay, well, we'll get to those.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you, Nick.
Yep, you're welcome.
Clerk's office.
Thank you, Paula. So as you all know, on Tuesday, we had the partisan primary on August 11th, and we had a 49% turnout. It was posted live and updating that night. Jules did an excellent job, and we worked in the office. We got the results finalized about 10:30 at night. And the municipal clerks and all the poll workers, I'd like to thank you. On election day, they did an excellent job. And they did an excellent job reporting on election night to us and returning the paperwork and election items to our office the next day. So the next step in that election process is on Monday, the 17th. We will hold canvassing at 9 a.m., which is a public open meeting.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right, let's move on to our resolutions. So number 9 is the Town of Fifield Bridge and Culvert Aid. Whereas the Town of Fifield is requesting aid for design and installation of one new culvert on Forest Road 136, North Gates Lake Road, and the unnamed tributary to Nicholas Lake. I can't say that creek. Waterway, do you know how to say that creek? No. With directions from I would have been impressed, with the nearest intersection from junction Forest Road 508 and Forest Road 136. The crossing is approximately 1 mile west. So we'll drop down to now, therefore, be it resolved that the Price County Board of Supervisors hereby approves the Town of Fifield Bridge and Culvert Aid request. The fiscal impact is $12,000 municipal tax levy. That's estimated.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, motion to approve by Michelle.
I'll second.
Okay,
Jordan get his name in the
second by Jordan. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, those opposed? Nope. Okay, it carries. The next one is number 9, Town of Fifield. Nope. Number 10, sorry, I didn't scratch it off. Town of Hill Bridge and Culvert Aid. Whereas the Town of Hill is requesting aid for design and installation of one new culvert on Haltman Lake Road and Esker Waterway with directions from the nearest intersection west of Highway C on Haltman Lake Road, half mile. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the Price County Board of Supervisors hereby approves the Town of Hill Bridge and Culvert Aid request.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion's been made by Michelle. Second by Larry. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion's carried. Here we go. Number 11, Town of Prentice Bridge and Culvert Aid. Whereas the Town of Prentice is requesting aid for design and installation of one new culvert on Old 8 West Road and an unnamed waterway with directions from the nearest intersection, 1/4 mile west of Beaumont and Old 8 West, legal description, southwest quarter, northwest quarter, Northeast Quarter, Section 8, Township 35 North, Range 1, east on the border of Section 29 and 28.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, motion's been made
I'll second.
and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
I didn't have discussion. All those in favor, aye. Those opposed? Okay, motion carried.
I think that's my favorite waterway though.
Oh,
The
well,
unnamed
that was
one.
good. You got that in right away. Number 12. So here we have the old title. This was on the agenda as the old title, where it said request for proposal and RFP, law enforcement radio equipment technology. So the recommended new title is Price County Public Safety Radio System Study, Phase 1 Consulting Services. Whereas Price County issued a request for proposals for a public safety radio system facility and feasibility study and received proposals from qualified public safety communications engineering firms. I don't have the, you have to fill in the blank there.
So we're going to discuss those blanks today.
Okay, so we should just leave that right here, or?
Yeah, so I can, before any can, approve
Okay.
it that way you don't have to amend anything. So we went through a process, and that's why it was called the RFP request. So we did an RFP. We had 4 companies reach out saying we're interested in providing services to get you to this, through this process, right? So we narrowed it down to 3. We had interviews last Friday. I was here Friday. Each successful bidder, I guess, or person got about 45 minutes. We did just a round table and clarified what they were talking about, what they were going to offer, and what we got from their bid. The individuals that were involved were Brian, the chair, Brian, the sheriff, Bobby Hahn, and then myself. So we had a bidder from Virginia called Tele something. They excellent. They had a good interview. I should say all 3 were good interviews. So we had one from Virginia, one from St. Paul, and then one from Missouri. Ultimately, the question came out. So they were all within about $8,000 of each other. So it ranged from 36,000 to 40. Well, I guess it was bigger than that because it was about 12,000. It was 49,000 was the highest. One of the questions that the committee came up with is like, what are we actually talking about? Like, I know we're asking for help to get this. So all 3 of them were pretty much close. There's some little different techniques of coming up with it, but they come on site, they check everything, they give you all these reports, blah, blah, blah. What their job is to get you to a point of saying, here's your options. So when they're done with this first phase, they'll come to the county board and say, you have 3 options or 2 options. You can spend the Cadillac plan, you can have the Goldilocks plan, or you can have the, well, we get by plan. And here's what you can Band-Aid together. So then you as a board would say, oh, we're interested in plan A, B, or C. Then we'd move to phase 2, which in here it says whoever we choose to work with, we would want to work with them for phase 2 and 3. The reason we didn't have a name in here until today when we discuss it is I had to reach out to we narrowed it down to 2 after the interviews. I reached out to the 2 individuals and said, hey, can you give me an estimate on what phase 2 looks like and costs? Phase 2 is the RFP process. So what that would be is they write the RFP. It'll be approximately 100 to 200 pages with every detail, every location. Every bid has to be apples to apples. So it's a much more intense than Nick and Brian working on like, hey, we want a radio, right? The concern is like you could get a bid that says, oh yeah, you need these radios, but then they don't tell you, by the way, I need a change order because all your towers don't meet this radio spec or whatever. So we definitely want to work with somebody on the RFP, the phase 2. One company came back and said that'll be about $60,000 to get you the RFP. The other one came back at about $45,000, give or take. They estimates, this could be more or less, but it gets you to the contract being signed. So you do the RFP, they review who puts in the product, they make sure it works for what you want to do, they negotiate all the contracts, make sure you have 10 years agreements, you have all these things, they do all that. So it's like having an employee. That's phase 2. Phase 3 is to get the switch on. So cool, we signed a contract. Now you have 1 year to get all the products and everything, train all our employees, get everything to be able to make that first radio call in our dispatch and throughout. So phase 3 is between 1 and 5% of the total cost of the project. One was 100,000, the other one gave us the percentage. So based on the phase 2 and 3, we're recommending going with a company called Tusa out of Missouri. So that was who we'd fill in as Tusa. And then the not to exceed 55,000, their phase 1 cost was 48,000 something, 49, but we just gave it the just in case there was some reason there was a small change there. If you approve it, we sign the contracts and we start the process immediately. They come on site, they interview all the players, they do all that. So if we go with Tusa and you guys approve it or recommend this for the full board, the other question is where does the funding come from? So we have 2 options. One would be using the bug tussle money that we've received for allowing them to use our name on the bonds for the bug tussle project.
And that amount is 90,000
Okay.
that we have.
Does that include this year?
No.
Okay, so we have plenty in there. There's 90,000 in there. We've been using some of that funding for legal fees as we work through the bug tussle stuff. But we do have money in there that we could use for this project. So there would be no levy, no nothing. Or we can use capital improvement funding or money, our fund, which is what we use for large projects that are capital, like our dams, any of those projects. So either one is acceptable. Eventually, if whether the Bluetooth money is used towards a loan, if we continue with Bluetooth bug tussle, or if we transfer that into probably capital improvement if we close out that. It's kind of a horse apiece at this point.
Where is Tusa from?
Missouri. It's a
Missouri.
Missouri company, yeah. And I do have all the RFPs in my office if to see them before the board meeting.
Is Northway Communications still in business?
So Northway would be a vendor that would bid on the project. So Tusa and Televeda and Blue Wing were the bidder, or they would be consultants on. They don't sell a product. They don't sell like a Motorola or a Kenwood or the product that is your radio. So a Northway would be somebody who would bid on the RFP on phase 2.
So I'll make the motion that we use the bug tussle funding or not funding, whatever you want to, Carrie can pretty that up, to fund the RFP adventure. Close enough?
Yeah, you don't need to make a motion. We can just put that in the
Perfect.
resolution. So you're recommending as a committee to use the fund.
I mean, that's what they were supposed to do for us, so it seems like a pretty good fit to me.
Capital Improvement Fund.
Yeah, it's a subset of the. So you're right. That's what we discussed is when we were working on this radio project, the money we were going to receive for being that bondholder was going to go towards this. So it makes sense.
So whatever you need, I just did it.
We don't need anything. So 2 blanks would be filled in with Tusa
Right.
and
Bug tussle.
the fund one.
Yeah, Fund 105, capital improvement. I don't know what you want to call it, /
Bug tussle
Bug
funding.
tussle.
Okay.
funding.
You guys can pretty that up
Yeah.
too.
And then since we now have a resolution in front of us, somebody could make a motion to
Okay,
approve.
One question.
That
quick.
would,
that would be, yes, go ahead.
Tusa's TUSCA. How do you spell it? USA. Okay, thanks. And could I also check too? You said Fund 105 Capital Improvement / Bug Tussle Fund. Okay, I'll enter that and for signing purposes. Thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion from Michelle to accept the resolution. Second by Larry. Any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll call a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, those opposed? All right.
Meredith, when you put Tusa in, you could just put Tusa Consulting as their
Consulting.
firm's name. Yeah. Just Tusa Consulting Services. Yeah.
I did it phonetically, so you don't want to see how I wrote it. I know I had Toosha. S-A-S-H-A. Tusa.
Last just little question. Do you want the new title versus the old title?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Sounds good.
Yes. I guess that would go with the resolution. So recommended that. You said yes. Got it. All right. Good question to ask. Thank you. All right. So let's move on to, we've done the compliance bug tussle update. Speaking of.
Sure.
Yeah, there you go.
Technically, we have a little bit more in there, or should be coming. But
We
so over the last month and a half, 2 months, based on the discussion we had, I can't, was it here or at the board where you guys motioned to see what our options are to get out of the current project and just move on and figure something else out. I did have several meetings with them. We are exploring an option where we would get out of the project. So the legal term would be closing it, but I can't really, they told me. So right now, the most recent update I got is they're seeking solutions from their council and our council. So we use a TOLUS to unwind the partnership with Price County, and then close it out. So the positive part is we have the money sitting in a bank account that no one can touch unless Nick signs for it. So they would have to give me a reason to sign for it to release any money. We've told them don't do anything in Price County because we're not releasing the money. So if they were to be able to close the project and just be done with it, what that would allow it to do is we would just say, cool, there's a $15 million bond. We close it with all the money. Bug Tussle owes whatever interest might have accrued over the time, but project done. That's the goal we're working towards. If they come up with a better plan in the future, they're more than welcome to come to the board and present that. However, we are moving towards unwinding that. That doesn't mean we're not going to see towers in the community. There are other companies that are out there building towers. It just may take longer to get here. Again, the biggest downfall of this is we don't have access to towers. So with our radio project, we saw other counties that had access to these towers. There's one other one that I was working with that they figure they saved about 40% on the radio project. And they did I think it was $9 million project. So they saved a lot of money when doing this the same project we're looking at for radio, much bigger county. So we're going to have to either work with the towers we already have or upgrade some of those towers. Again, that's where our project's going to have multiple options because technology is changing and there may be good technology where we use cars as towers, you can put repeaters in cars. So anyways, the bug tussle thing, we are working towards unwinding as long as all the players legally allow it. And one of the hurdles would be like, if I was an investor and I bought this bond, assuming I was going to make so much money over the next so many years, I'm losing out on that. So that's one of the hurdles that has to be explored and understood. But that's what smarter people than any of us are working on right now. It's our best option we're exploring right now. So I'll give you updates as I hear them, but that's what we're working on with Bug Tussle.
Just so you know, when Brian and I were at a workshop in Wisconsin Rapids, Jim Metz from Taylor County was there. He did not have nice things to say about Bug Tussle. So it's not just us. There are more out there.
Yeah, we have a 16 county group that's currently working with Bug Tussle outside of our project issue. And there's a common theme that there's a struggle in communication and making sure what we were promised or what we wanted comes to fruition. Some counties, good luck, great luck, got it done, early projects. The bead thing really threw a wrench in it and how that works. So there's a lot of things going on.
I feel like we're just being dragged through the weeds by one leg by bug tussle. We're really in hurt for our emergency radio system.
Oh, yeah.
We could have been a lot farther down the road if we would have just taken it out on our own, and now we have to start over. So
That's one thing I did talk to the consultants about. And I said, one thing I think we'll want you to do is present to our board and multiple times, but for one presentation, let's talk about what it means when the salesperson or the product comes to you and says it's end of life, right? Because that's been our fear. Like when we hear end of life, we hear they're going to turn the switch off and we're not going to have radios. And what are we going to do? That's not how it works, right? That's a great way to get you to update stuff. What end of life means is they don't make that product anymore. It doesn't mean they don't service it or it doesn't at least fill the minimum need. It does mean you need to start looking. So we've learned that end of life is coming. But we've also, like you just alluded to, Larry, where it's like we could be farther ahead, but it's not a bad thing that we're not. We're not like in a danger zone of like tomorrow, if we don't spend that $5 million, we're going to have to spend money, but we don't need it yesterday. We need a plan. We need a 5-year plan. We need or 3, 5, and 10-year plan. And that was the other thing we talked about when they're making their options. Do they review it and look at like, okay, today you need to update this piece of equipment, but your radios are good. And then in 3 years, you need to do the radios. And so maybe it's less of here's $4 million today and it's 1 million this time and 1 million over here. And by the end you spend 3.5 or whatever, but it's a step up process, not necessarily rip the Band-Aid off, because it's not, oh no, the switch turned off and it never works. You might have a couple hurdles throughout the process, but it's not as scary as they want you to replace yesterday. And we'll talk more about that at law enforcement today.
Okay, well, we can chew that one up for a while and go with it. Monthly vouchers.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Michelle, you're right on it today. Good
I know.
job. Okay. And second, monthly vouchers. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Okay, got it. And next, our date of our next meeting is September 10th. And hearing no objection, this meeting is now adjourned.
Good job, team.
Yes, there we